Hey everyone, and welcome back to the garage. My name's Logan and this is Watch Me Work. So for those of you that have watched my long form video on replacing the LED running lights that I had, because this one on this side had died, this won't be much of a video for you because you've already seen the long process of doing the other side, but I thought I would make a bit of a how-to video on how to wire in some LED running lights or any kind of running lights that you want, really. And the reason I did this, like I said, is because the light on this side had died and I've already gone through the effort of peeling it off. It was a bit of a pain, but I used a heat gun to warm up the adhesive and I just pulled it off and picked away at it and eventually I got it. So I got these little cheapo LED lights from Wish. For those of you that aren't familiar with Wish, it's where you go to buy things like rubber dog shit and crack pipes and fetish outfits and all kinds of weird stuff. But they do have some pretty cool deals from time to time. And I got these LED lights for free. I just had to pay shipping. So it was $5 Canadian. So that's like, 50 cents American or whatever. And I've gone through the effort already of stripping these wires a little bit. It was a huge pain if you've seen the other video because these are incredibly small wires. And what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to extend them using other pieces. I'm going to have to solder these extensions on and put some pieces of heat shrink onto it. And then I'll be able to wire it into the vehicle's wiring and we'll be good to go. So we'll just get started on that. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be heating up my soldering iron. So I'll go grab my extension cord. Just takes a while to heat up. Running into the same issue I had in the other video where I don't have enough hands to do this effectively. I'm just tinning my wires here. That's the process of getting some solder into the wire beforehand. It's not easy to do with one hand. But basically that's it. Now that those are tinned, I'm going to snap this piece off because I'm tired of holding this whole damn thing in my hand. I should be able to solder this to these little Chinese wires now. I really wish I had more hands for this, but such is life. This is like using chopsticks, but way worse. Fucking nailed it. Alright, sorry. Don't mind my language. This one is being a little bit more stubborn, but we'll get her. Oh yes, we will. All right, good enough. Unplug your soldering iron and put it somewhere safe. The next thing you're going to want to do is take some pieces of heat shrink. I got 3 of them here, 2 small black ones and a little white one. And you're going to want to heat shrink both of those connections that you just made. Now your process of doing this will hopefully be easier than mine, because hopefully you won't have to do this at all. The only reason that I'm doing this is, I guess there's 2 reasons really. For one, the wires that came with this light are too short to be useful. And the other, of course, is that the wires are too small to crimp. So I'm forced to solder them into these little extensions, and then I can crimp the extensions into some spade connectors, which will give me the ability to connect and disconnect them as I want. Cool, so that's that. So on the vehicle side of the wiring, I've already got the female ends of the spade connectors hooked up, because when I had done my previous LED lights, I wanted to use the spade connectors, but they didn't work because those wires were too small as well. I ended up kind of making it work, but it was a bit ghetto. This is a little bit more properly done. So if you don't know how to use a crimper, I do have another video on that, but you can probably figure it out just from watching me. It's really simple. Wire goes in. Check to make sure it's through the hole. And squeeze it, and that's it. So now that that's done, let me just make sure that these wires reach where they have to go. They should. There we go. There we go. So this is going to end up going in the same spot as it did on the other side. I'm just going to quickly plug this thing in. These terminals are fucking terrible, but whatever. Oh, that one was good. Cool. Now, if you're like me and you don't like having two terminals kind of close together, you might want to grab some electrical tape and insulate them from each other, which also insulates them from the bodywork of the vehicle so that nothing shorts out. The last thing you want to get is anything shorting out on your vehicle, because that will cause fires, or at the very least, it'll cause blown fuses, depending on whether it's a fused circuit or not. And in a vehicle, they should all be fused circuits, but it's best to not roll the dice on it. After all, it only takes a second or two to put some electrical tape on something. When it comes to your vehicle, aside from the fact that I'm using cheap Chinese LEDs, it's usually better to take the extra time or spend the extra money to do it right. Otherwise, you'll just end up having to redo it, which is what happened the first time with my LEDs that burnt out, because they were cheap and they weren't weather sealed. This type here is just one sealed circuit board. There's no exposed electronics, so hopefully I won't run into that issue this time around. But now that's wired up. The next step will be to put this black cover on, because quite frankly, I don't want to have this weird white board showing. Now this is really tricky. You have to bend this thing so carefully because, oh, there, it just kind of, it went on me. These are shit, and they bend super easily, and they get ruined. I think what's probably going to end up happening in the end is I'll have to take these off, and I'll probably end up having to paint this or something to make it look nicer, because this cover is just, it's crap. But whatever, it'll be fine for now. It just needs to get me through the winter at least, until my hands are not freezing, and then I have the time and desire to actually do this right. There you go. So that's your two-sided tape. And I'm just sticking this exactly where it is on the other side of the vehicle. see the metal cover is a piece of crap that doesn't stick worth a damn. But from a few feet away, no one's going to notice. And you won't notice it when they're lit up anyway. So there we go. That's wired in and it's stuck on. Make sure nothing else is under the hood. And then I can close it. Double check my wiring, looks good. I almost forgot to reinstall the breather hose from my intake on the other side. That takes 1 second. There, that's done. Now just to show you, I'll turn this on and you'll see the light. Thanks for watching. And if you like my video, feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. I'm working hard on getting my videos out there to the public so they can see how to do tasks like this, and they can see how I work, and hopefully they can enjoy it too. Take care.